This is The Guide Gals, a modern, wedding-focused podcast by the experts at Here Comes the Guide. I'm Chelsea, a designer and inspired creative who's probably racked up over 9,000 hours on Pinterest and the friend who's going to shoot it to you straight.
And I'm Caroline, a social media manager who is obsessed with dogs as ring bearers and will inevitably cry over your wedding video. We've seen it from all sides. We've been brides, planners, bridesmaids, and have worked with standout brands throughout the industry.
Think of us as an extension of your wedding party and hang out with us as we share the ins, outs, ups, and downs of the road to I Do.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Guide Gals podcast where we talk all about the wedding planning process, and today we're tackling a bit more of that with the wedding wardrobe breakdown.
Yes, we've started seeing the idea of a wedding wardrobe more recently. It sparked all kinds of discussions online. There's lots of content being made about it. We're really into it. That's our that's our stand or our take on that.
Yeah, because honestly, your wedding is such a big deal, and we love the idea that you're going to make your fashion choices a big deal as well. That's such a special part of wedding events. I don't know. I love fashion. I know Chelsea does too. It's just such a fun thing that designates you as a really important part of all of the events.
Yeah, and there really are so many events, like you said, so many little things leading up to your wedding aside from your actual wedding day where you need an outfit for. So, lots of outfit changes. Even some people have multiple dresses or outfits, whatever, on their actual wedding day. So getting ready, ceremony dress, reception dress, outfit for the send off. So yeah, lots of options there and lots of things to play with.
There are tons of things to consider with your wedding wardrobe, even if you aren't going to do tons of outfit changes. So we will get into all of the nitty gritty details. And as always, before we do that, we're going to talk about what we're drinking today.
Caroline, why don't you tell us what you're drinking today?
All right. I have a cold brew, not one that I made, one that I bought from a store, whatever, and caramel almond milk creamer today. Very simple, but it's a good go-to.
Yeah, that sounds good. I have a hot coffee with some vanilla in there. Nothing groundbreaking today.
I feel like we're really switching into, or at least for me, I can do an iced coffee anytime. I can do a cold brew anytime. Hot coffee for me is definitely a fall and winter thing. We're moving into summer now, and I don't know. I feel like you will see less hot coffee from me. But I feel like you do hot coffee pretty regularly.
Every morning, yeah. If I have a cold coffee in the morning, that's not usual for me. I like the comfort of it in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
But an afternoon iced coffee is great.
Oh, ideal. I love, it's my favorite pick-me-up.
All right, before we get into the full wardrobe breakdown, we just want to mention that we're not really going to get into the super details of the wedding dress itself. We're really going to be talking about all of the different things that can make up your full wedding wardrobe. So that's going to be all of the alternative things and just the ideas of the stuff that you can include in that wardrobe. So we could truly do an entire episode about this very specific main event wedding dress or wedding attire, and then all of the timelines that go along with that, the budgeting that goes with it, alterations, all of that different stuff. There's some hidden costs and stuff in that too, and accessories. It's not just the so we could really get into that in a later episode, but today we're going to do kind of more of an overview of the full breakdown of everything that can be included in your wardrobe.
Yeah, and if you do have questions about the wedding dress itself, about alterations, budgeting, how to find a veil, whatever else, let us know. Go ahead and reach out to us on our website or go to our DMs. We're always happy to chat there, and maybe we can make a full episode out of that in the future.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to get into is events to consider. So when creating your wedding wardrobe, you're really going to want to just take a step back, probably make a list of all of the events or the different things that are going to be involved in your wedding. So this isn't just your wedding day, like we said, your shower, even engagement photos, all of these different things, your bachelorette party. Make a list of all of those different events. And then from there, you can figure out what you will be wearing for each of those things.
Yeah. After that, you can kind of have a helpful checklist that you can do like for this event, here are the things I need, got my quick checklist. So here's a list of events that you could consider. We've mentioned some of these already, but just to have a quick list for you, there's the rehearsal dinner, engagement photos, or an engagement party, the reception outfit or an exit outfit, the bachelorette party, the outfit you want to wear while you're getting ready, any special cultural events, if you have a send-off brunch or a welcome dinner or any other events that maybe are wrapped up into a weekend wedding, or something that you are going to do just for yourself, whatever. Those are each of the events that could be involved in your wedding, and you may want outfits for all of those. So think about all of those events before you make your list.
Yeah, and that can seem like a really long list. And different people might have different vibes for each of those events. So something might be like a little bit more high budget and more of like a formal event, but some of your other events might be more casual. So getting it all laid out, though, will help you figure out what is going to be needed for each of those things.
Yeah, yeah. And you could still have a ton of different events to plan for, but you could always rewear items. Like, of course, that's obvious, but if you have a beautiful dress that you want to wear for your engagement photos and you want to rewear that dress to your rehearsal dinner, no one's going to bat an eye at that. And also, it might help you justify maybe getting the thing that you've really had your eye on that might have a bigger price tag if you can use it for multiple events. So just want to throw that out there as well.
Okay, now that you have your list of events written out, you can start to think about all of the different items that will be included in these outfits. So this can include dresses, rompers, robes, earrings, bracelets, necklaces, hats, shoes, sunglasses, bags. The list probably goes on from there. There's lots of like little accessories and stuff that can be included.
Yeah, if you have like a beach bachelorette party, you might want to get a white swimsuit, a white cover up. You might want a bag, towel, flip flops, a hat. Maybe some of that could say bride on it or whatever else. But then also you could be looking for a really cool exit outfit for your wedding, and you want something that's a little bit more modern, maybe like a really cool jumpsuit and crisp white Air Force Ones, whatever else that is. So it can really range depending on what you're looking for, but there are a lot of things to think about that involve not just the dress or the jumpsuit or whatever else itself. There are a lot of other associated items.
Yeah, and for each event, you probably want to think about this list of things. So dress/clothing. So this is going to be the main item, the focus that you're going to be wearing. So most of the attention will be from there, and then you'll kind of build upon that. Next, you'll want to think about shoes. So another really equally important item. And then jewelry. So obviously you'll have your engagement ring, but earrings, necklaces, bracelets, like whatever, that's all a big deal too. It really can make an outfit. And then other accessories might include like a veil, bags, a hat, really like anything else, sunglasses, I don't know, anything else that you might want to add.
Yeah. And we really do think a lot of your budget is probably going to go to that, like the main dress outfit, maybe even the shoes. I don't know, but for some of you out there, maybe the shoes are the most important part. You've had your eye on something and then you do a simple white dress. I don't know. This is just a very general list, but wanted to give you some of that information. But if you're a person who doesn't really care about the dress itself and you really care about shoes, I feel you. I think that would probably be me. All right, kind of the next thing on our list is to consider some brands. So in my mind, this is the fun part. Like, we have the events laid out, we have the items laid out. Now you get to pick out those things. And deciding where you want to pick those things out can be kind of hard to figure out. But there really are a ton of places out there that specialize in creating this wedding wardrobe. And many businesses even that sell services that help you like almost become a stylist for you and helping you build this wedding wardrobe.
Yeah, the Anthropologie Weddings, which used to be Beholden, correct? Like that was the name. Yeah, it's a great example. You can buy your wedding dress, veil accessories, getting ready things. They have lingerie, and even like reception outfits. All in one place. There's a lot of really great options here. A lot of them are affordable. And as you know, I mean, Anthropologie is a brand where like you can shop for everyday clothes. So they have a lot of options. They do have that wedding line, but you can really find something that probably matches your personality really well. And you could rewear a bunch of times too, like past your wedding. So that's really great.
Yeah, I love Anthropologie Weddings, Beholden. My wedding dress was from there. My reception dress that I never even ended up wearing was from there. And I think some of my other accessories. But Pro tip, in case you are listening to this and you are most likely a 2025 bride, you could use this as a tip. If you go during the like Black Friday kind of time frame, they usually have a really big sale at that point. They also do have a lot of locations that sell like, I don't want to say, I don't know, there's kind of like almost like outlet stores that also carry some of their older styles or overstock or maybe things that might have slight damage. They do that for like their furniture and other things as well at these big stores. There's one near me. But I would really source at those places too, because you'll still get the same quality, but you might get a smaller price tag. So that's my pro tip in terms of Anthropologie weddings.
Yeah, I love Anthropologie in general. Free People, the whole brand,
yes,
like the whole parent company, whatever.
So good.
It's one of my favorites, but a lot of brands really are like starting to come out with more focused brand or focused wedding line. One that I saw recently was Abercrombie. They came out with a line too. I've been seeing some stuff on social media about it, and it looks really nice. I've always loved Abercrombie. Fun fact, my first job that I ever had was working at Abercrombie. So that was great. Good memories there. But I mean, since I worked there in college, like the brand really has transformed, and it's so solid.
Yeah.
Like their pieces are like pretty good quality, and for, you know, purchasing wedding wardrobe items, which are typically something, probably pieces that you're going to want to invest in more, really affordable stuff there. So, and stuff, once again, it's not going to fall apart on you. It's not going to fit you weird because it's really like low quality items. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how they, like, I hope that they continue to expand that line because I'm a fan of Abercrombie too. So, yeah.
Honestly,
I'd like
even
to see
for
what they do with
wedding
it.
for wedding guest dresses too, they've always been super solid. But I love seeing the stuff they're coming out with. It's, I don't know, I agree. Abercrombie is a brand that I've been loving a lot. But Chelsea and I really are huge fans of Free People, of Anthropologie, that parent company as a whole. And that's also another option you can think about is renting from some of these places. So Nuuly is a service that we use a lot of times. And honestly, it can be great for sourcing some of those wedding wardrobe things. Thinking about like a bachelorette party, you can rent, I think, up to like 8 items. And you could get your whole bachelorette party outfits at one place, and for a fraction of the cost because you're just going to be renting them. There are plenty of places that you can rent either wedding dresses or buy things secondhand or rent them secondhand for like wedding specific things. So yes, Nuuly is a great option. Other renting things are a great option for that. They may not have super wedding specific things. So there are other brands and rental opportunities that do wedding specific rentals. Sometimes not just for the clothing themselves, but for accessories and different things. And that can be a great option to look into.
Renting is really, really great. I know, I mean, I do Nuuly. I'm surprised that at this moment I'm not wearing an item from my Nuuly. This is a rare day that I'm not like currently wearing something that I've rented from them. I love it, and I've used it not for my own wedding, but for like wedding guest stuff. I've rented dresses from there, and I know that like with, you know, renting things or when you buy things, I feel like it's harder to part with them, even though, you know, maybe some items you're like, I'm never going to wear that again. Maybe for your bachelorette trip, for example, you get some like really fun, like out there things that are just like, you know, very special for the time, but like not something that you would wear in your normal life. So I know like selling it is always an option, but I know it's sometimes hard to part with those things. And when you rent it right off the bat, it is a great way to save money. And it's, you know, you don't have that like weird emotion. Maybe this is just me. But I get attached to physical items and like I give them personalities. But like parting with it, sometimes when you have to sell it is hard. If you rent it, you don't even have to think about it. And yeah, great way to save money. There are, like Caroline said, so many different places, not just clothing, but there are lots of clothing rental businesses now. So you can take your pick of the litter, but yeah, you can rent all kinds of things for events. As an extra tip as well, just another way to think about saving money, which I think everybody's after, ways to save money. So brands that are specifically in the wedding market a lot of times will have a higher price point. It's understandable. These, once again, are pieces that you're probably going to be more inclined to invest more money in because it's a once in a lifetime thing. You want it to be to fit your vision. You want it to feel perfect. But if you look at other brands that aren't necessarily wedding specific, maybe you're looking for something just white. If you look at other brands, they're not necessarily going to have that higher price tag or like that, bigger bump because they're not wedding specific. It's just a regular dress. But I mean, that is a great way to avoid that like extra price tag.
Totally. I think another money saving opportunity is kind of twofold. Like you could go and try on something, fall in love with it, and then go home and look for it on Poshmark, on Mercari, on things like that. Yeah. That's a great way to find the dress of your dreams, but maybe someone has already worn it and it's not necessarily a rental. You could just be straight up buying it. But it's nice when you walk into that having that exact brand and maybe size that you're looking for. But that also goes for finding a veil. Like I actually bought my veil on Poshmark and I love the experience. It was so much cheaper and like, I don't know, truly very easy. And then I bought, I think, a couple options for like, I had like a little belt around my dress. I bought 2 different options off of Poshmark for that. And it was cheaper to buy those 2 options than to buy one brand new. So that's another money saving opportunity for you. And I did turn around and resell the belt that I didn't use. So that worked out pretty well. But that's another way that you can source some of these things and or kind of make it work for your budget.
And I just love like the hunt in that. Like that is like giving me like a little like, I don't know, jolt of like adrenaline, like the thought of it, because like when you have something that you're like, okay, I want this so bad, and maybe like you're just trying to get it at a cheaper price, trying to find it used or something, or maybe it's something that's not sold anymore. I don't know. This is a little unrelated, but like that feeling of when you like source something that feels almost like one of a kind because you got it used or like vintage or something like that, it feels so much more special, I think. So I don't know, but I have been in the position before where I'm like, I absolutely need this specific clothing item and I will be finding it. I am looking on all corners of the internet and I will be finding it. And when you do, it's like so great. It's like you've won the lottery.
Yes, yeah. That's I think is specifically why I like thrift shopping and things like that. And honestly, like keep your eye out in places like that. Thrift stores are also a great place where you can sometimes stumble upon something amazing. I think one of my friends found their wedding dress there. It was like $10.
My gosh.
And they had serious alterations that needed to be made to it, but it ended up being like insanely beautiful. And I think I've also seen like some TikTok like trends. I don't know, actually I want to say it's a trend, but I think there's a specific TikToker out there, and I will never remember who it is at this moment, who has remade some dresses that I'm like,
that's so cool.
Oh my gosh, bringing new life to it. So yeah, keeping your eye out on the hunt. I think this is the most fun part, is like sourcing all of the items. Okay, now that we have all of those things considered, there is one more thing, kind of 2 more things, I guess, that you'll want to look into. And one of that is the other people involved. Yes, you are the biggest deal. You and your fiance, all eyes are on you. But there are also other people who are going to be surrounding you on your wedding day, and you're going to want to think about what they have to wear too, because ultimately, usually what they wear should complement what you're wearing.
The first thing that really comes to mind with this is, of course, your bridal party, your wedding party. So obviously, you're going to want to think about what are they going to be wearing on your wedding day? What color, what style, pattern do you have in mind? Is there a certain silhouette that you want them to be wearing? And do you want to give them a lot of freedom or choice when it comes to that? Or is this something that like you really like, you know exactly what each person is going to wear and that's what they're wearing? Do you have accessories, shoes in mind? Is that something that you're also going to be choosing, or is that going to be left up to them? So yeah, all of those things to consider. And then on the same lines, your bridal party, are you going to want them to wear something specific to like your bachelorette party or other events? Of course, these are things that you're going to be capturing photos at. And I don't know, I'm just saying, like if you have some sort of dress code or color palette that you have in mind, it really, if you're like, I don't know, a sucker for like photos like Caroline and I are, it really does make a huge difference. You know, like the colors that they're wearing, like even if you say like, hey, can we stick to this color palette for at least this point in the bachelorette parties? Like we're taking some pictures here. It really makes a huge difference. Like one example, I was just on a little trip with my friends. We were taking some photos on the beach and I was wearing actually pretty similar to this. I was wearing a white sweater. And my friend, I was taking some pictures of her and she had on like a hot pink hoodie. And I was like, I like really need you to switch with me right now. So we switched tops so that I could take some pictures of her with like a white sweater. And it made the biggest difference. Like the hot pink, it was not the vibe. Like it wasn't the vibe. And like there's nothing wrong with it. It was a cute sweatshirt that she was wearing for sure. Hi Kelly, if you're listening. But like it just wasn't working. It was throwing off the photos. So it really is something to think about. If this is something that's going to matter to you, you have to think about this way far in advance, and like let people know what is needed. If you're watching on video, if you're looking at, is that in the frame? Because that's really funny.
Sure is. Yeah. If you guys didn't know, we have a YouTube channel and you can watch all of our videos on YouTube. Kind of watch some of the chaos that happens here, as in right now. My cat came over and is like laying like a baby, but has one arm like and is like pulling on my jean jacket. Is like stretched out.
It kind of looks like you're about to get strangled.
Yeah, he had both arms up there at one point, and I actually was like, whoa, that's too much. But he likes being held like a baby like this, so I don't know if you can actually see his head.
That's cute.
Okay, sorry for the distraction of my cat, but another person or people that you might want to think about is the mother of the bride, mother of the groom, whoever those people are, because typically they have outfits that kind of designate them as such, and you want them to complement what your bridal party is wearing or what you're wearing. Like, typically they're in the same color family as what everyone else is wearing, but they have a little bit of a, like, more formal feel. I don't know. That can be a hard thing to figure out, is like what they wear. I know that was probably the hardest thing for my mom to figure out, was like, what do I wear? And I was like, I don't know, whatever. But did give her like a color family and kind of an idea, but she has a hard time picking those things out. So that might be a person who you want to give some additional help to, or like go shopping with them, make them feel special, and make sure that you're involving them in that, as typically they do need a little bit of a distinguished outfit. And surely there's probably some other people to consider. There's like, if you have flower girls or ring bearers or anything else, you want to consider those details. But those are just some things we wanted to throw out there in terms of people, because as in every episode we talk about, communication is really important. So with that wedding party, with the parents, with any other associated people who are going to be doing things, just make sure you have put some thought into what they're going to wear and communicate that with them.
Yeah, no, seriously, do that. Because if you have in your head, and maybe you're like, I want it to be this specific vibe, like this is what I'm going for, this is the look, those people, flower girls, the mother of the bride, like those people are going to be in like all of the photos. Like seriously, they're going to be photographed so much. And if you have a specific vision in mind, like you really do need to let them know right away and say like, hey, like this is something that I really want to work hand in hand with you on picking out. Otherwise, they might say, hey, I got this dress, here's a picture of it, does this work? And then you will be in the position to either say no, return it if possible, like please send it back, which could hurt their feelings. But I mean, if you're upfront about that and you say like, I really want to be involved in this process, I just really want to make sure that it fits with what I'm going for, then you won't have to deal with like rejecting their choice after they already made it without consulting you, because that will happen. Like it will happen.
Oh, 100%. And really quickly, to kind of wrap up the episode, we're going to do a quick fire of like styles to consider, meaning that depending on your style, your outfit choices may look very different. And we're going to talk through some of those. So I'm going to talk through a little bit of, if you're going for a little bit more of a modern feel, something that I imagine is maybe your reception outfit is a very clean cut silhouette, maybe like a shift dress, something that is, you know what? Actually, I'm imagining reception dress, high neck, like almost halter kind of thing, satin, a very like simple but sleek kind of fabric. I'm imagining your shoes are actually kind of a bigger moment, or your jewelry is also having kind of more of a moment. I'm imagining, I don't know why, like chunky pearls or like some sort of chunky earring. I imagine your hair is also like slicked back, or maybe even like high pony if that is like your hairstyle, and like a bold lip color. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm imagining for something that's a little bit more modern, very sleek, but very still elevated. The silhouette of it being more interesting, or maybe your jewelry pieces being a little bit more of the like focal point.
Right. And something that I think is really great too is like thinking about, so by now you've probably thought about what you want your wedding style to be. You probably have a color palette. You probably just like, according to like what your venue is, like if it's rustic or more like Western themed, like that's something. And if it's yet more modern, like Caroline just talked about, I think it'd be really great and just so cool if you take that essence, like that style of what your wedding day is, and then you translate it, or maybe not translate it, but have it carry through the entire wedding wardrobe. So like if it is like romantic, like if you're having like a really romantic feeling wedding, like something that's like, I don't know, like almost like European feeling, like lots of like really flowy things. And this once again can translate into your, I don't know, maybe for your engagement photos. I don't know if that's like too far out, but I think that's included in the wedding wardrobe. But you'll be wearing something like really flowy, and then maybe for like the location of those photos, like is something really romantic too. And maybe even like that translates to the location of the bachelorette party feels really romantic, and then like what you're wearing just really has that same vibe. So yeah, like I would picture like, I don't know, like flowy things, like tulle happening, maybe even like, I don't know, bows, like, I don't know. There's like so many different things, or so many different styles that you can latch onto. And it gives you like a guide right away to know that like, this is the style that you really fell in love with and that you want your wedding day to be like. So of course you like it. And then it will act as a guide for the rest of the wardrobe, building that out in a way that really feels like true to like your wedding. So
yeah. I love the like a couple of other styles that we have down here. We have eclectic, boho, laid back. Like you could imagine something totally different from what we imagine for that, but some of those might have like common themes. Like for me, like boho is going to have very organic, natural elements, and that could show up in the fabric, that could show up in your accessories. Eclectic, but with eclectic, I also think of unique patterns or unique textures, and maybe pairing two different textures with each other. I don't know why I keep coming back to this. I think there was a photo we used a while ago of a couple, and they were with their dog, but she had like a sweater on and then a really like flowy kind of skirt. And I don't know if that was like wedding pictures or engagement pictures, whatever it was like stunning, but it felt very eclectic. And then something that might be more laid back is, I also had a friend, and I think I've mentioned this on an episode before, who left her, like did her exit in a like jumpsuit, or not a jumpsuit, tracksuit, kind of thing, like a white. Cool. Yeah, and she was an athlete, and so like it very much fit the vibe. It was very laid back, but still like elevated, still very much like designated her as like the person of honor, but it was so in tune with the style, the feel of the wedding and of the couple themselves. So I think that's also really a beautiful thing about the wedding wardrobe, is that you can do so much that reflects you and your wedding.
Yeah, anytime that you can pull your personality through your outfits, just however you're expressing yourself for your wedding, is really, really cool, and will always work well. You know, like it's going to be like what feels like the truest to your personality and you feel like the most comfortable in, like the most like you in. So anytime you can lean into that,
yes,
do it.
We love it.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to our podcast episode again this week. We had a lot of fun with this. We love talking about clothes. We love fashion. So yeah, it was fun to break down, and there's so much more that I think we could even talk about when it comes to wardrobe. So let us know if you'd like to hear that. And if you have any questions for us, or you have any suggestions for different episode topics that you'd like to hear, please let us know. You can reach out to us on our website's contact page. Our website is theguidegalspodcast.com. On our website, you can also find our full episode library and a lot of free planning resources. You can also reach out to us on Instagram at The Guide Gals Podcast. You can message us there. We really do love to hear from you. And we post a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. We post a lot of behind the scenes stuff on TikTok as well. We're on TikTok as The Guide Gals Pod. And you can watch any of our episodes, we have a video component to those. So you can find all of that on the Here Comes the Guide YouTube channel. But yes, we're excited to see you guys again next week. Talk about more wedding planning things.
Yeah. Well, and until next time then, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.